Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a Ford Bronco and we've installed the M&R Pro Series ditch light kit. It offers powerful white light as well as amber DRL. So let's review what you get with the kit. You get the passenger and driver's side bracket, you get 2 felt tapes, you get 2 Pro Series ditch lights, you get 2 cradles, you get a wiring harness to bridge the lights together, 2 grounding straps, and some mounting hardware. So let's start by installing the U-cradle to the light. I'm going to go ahead and put the light on its face, and there's 2 pockets here in order for you to drop these nuts in. Notice that the coned version of the nut is actually going to be pointing inward, so we're going to go ahead and slide them in. That's 1, 2. So on this U-cradle, they do have tabs pointing forward and they face towards the front of the light. I'm going to go ahead and use the supplied hardware to attach the cradle to the nuts that we previously inserted. Awesome, and we're going to do the same thing on the second one. We're going to drop the nuts with the cone portion going inwards, and the tabs are pointing towards the front of the light using supplied hardware. And this is how a pair of pods is going to look assembled. So the brackets come with 2 pieces of felt, so I'm going to go ahead and measure one of them. I'm going to cut out the antenna with some scissors so that way it doesn't interfere. The felt is designed so that way the brackets don't scratch up the plastic if you choose to remove this kit later on. So now I'm going to go ahead and peel the sticker off. And we're going to also poke these holes so that way we have an opening for our bolts. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the second bracket. This one doesn't have the cutout for the antenna, so we don't have to worry about it. Same thing. So now let's go to the Bronco to install the ditch lights. So now we're on the driver's side of the Bronco. We're going to take out these 2 Torx accessory screws. So now you can detach these 2 pieces by lifting up on them, and that's where you're going to hide the wire from the light. So what we can do, we can feed the wire through, and then after we mount the plate, when we're tightening these bolts, we can tug on the wire to eliminate any slack. We have the wire in the engine bay. So once you put the bracket on and reinstall these bolts, it's going to tighten all the creases, pull itself down, and it's going to look the way it was before. So let's install the bracket. So this is the driver's side bracket, the way you know that it doesn't have the cutout for the antenna like the passenger. Here are the 2 holes for the factory bolts, and this is going to be the stud that we use to attach our light. So now I'm going to reuse the factory hardware when attaching this plate. I'm not going to tighten this all the way because when I install the light, I still want to pull all the slack off from the wiring, so I'll tighten these bolts last. So now we can remove this nut from the stud, and we're going to install the light. Use a wrench to secure the nut to the light. So now we can pull on the wire in order to eliminate all the slack in the cable, and we can tighten these bolts that hold the bracket to the Bronco. Awesome, let's do the same thing on the passenger side. Now that we're on the passenger side, let's take off the antenna first. So all you do is just unscrew it, and after we install the bracket, we'll reinstall it. We're going to take out the 2 accessory bolts. So now we're going to put the wire underneath this panel. Just lift up on this trim. You'll be able to unclip it and pass the wire through it. And just a reminder, we'll eliminate the slack in the wire after we install the bracket. Here's the bracket for the passenger side. Notice there's a cutout for the antenna, and we're going to reuse the hardware in order to secure it. We're going to remove this nut, place the light on top of the stud, and reinstall it. With a 13mm wrench, we can tighten this bolt Let's eliminate the slack, and then we can tie down those factory accessory bolts. I'm gonna lock this. There's a little tab here on the bottom. Just put it in place. And then let's tighten those accessory bolts. After the pods are mounted, we can reinstall the antenna. So now we're finished installing the lights. I do want to point out that it doesn't interfere with the antenna, and you could have the ability to either point them forward or actually angle them outwards. It's just a matter of finding the angle and tightening this bolt. So now let's go to the wiring. So let's talk about the wiring harness that you get with the M&R kit. You do get two grounding straps to ground each light on each side, one on passenger, one on driver, and you get a main wiring harness to be able to connect both lights together and take them to a power source. If your Bronco comes with auxiliary switches, this wiring harness is going to be able to connect them directly to them. If your vehicle is not equipped with auxiliary switches, such as the Bronco they're working on today, you're going to have to provide with a different method, which is sold separately, such as the M&R wireless wiring harness. So taking the wiring harness apart, I do want to point out that it does have a winder section. One end of the wiring harness is going to go to the passenger side. The winder section is going to go to the driver's side pods. And this end of the wiring harness, it's either going to go to auxiliary switches or a different power source, such as the wireless wiring harness. So now we're on the driver's side. Let's review what type of wiring you get with the pods. So each pod has 3 wires coming out of it. The black is going to be the ground, and that's what we're going to connect the grounding strap to. Red is going to be for the powerful white light, and white is going to be for the ambient lighting, the DRL backlit. So we're just going to match the same colors. So red is going to be our powerful white light. So on the Y intersection of the harness, we're just going to crimp that to the red wire. So red to red and white to white. For the black wire, we're going to connect it to a black grounding cable. So there's also a crimp here. Since we're already on the driver's side, I'm going to go ahead and ground it. We can use this bolt here. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to slide it through the eyelid, and we're going to reinstall it. Awesome. Let's do the same thing on the passenger side. I'm going to stretch over the wire, and we're going to connect like-to-like colors. So red to red and white to white. Here's the white wire. And we're going to use a supplied grounding strap for the black wire. There's also a grounding location here that we can use. Remove the factory bolt, slide the eyelid through it, and reinstall it. And that leaves us with the last end of the wire, which is going to be connected to either factory auxiliary switches, or in this case, because the vehicle is not equipped with it, we're going to use the M&R wireless wiring harness. This is the module that's in the engine bay. You connect your lights and accessories to it, and you're able to control it within the cab wirelessly. Let me show you how to assemble this and install it on the Bronco. We have the M&R wireless module, the remote. We have all the stickers for our buttons for the remote. There's a fuse holder, 2 power wires, 1 for every side of the fuse. Black ground wire for the module, 2 zip ties for mounting, optional ACC wire. We typically don't use it, but it's available, and some connectors with a fuse. Let's go ahead and take off the cover from the control module. There's 4 Allen screws that we're going to remove, 1 on each side. So with the cover off, we do have 8 different circuits with 8 different amp ratings, 1 positive for every circuit. Everything's nicely epoxied, and you do have accessory ports. So we have 2 ports here, 3 trigger wires. We have a positive for the battery, and we have a ground terminal here. I'm going to open the fuse box. I'm going to remove the 8mm nuts. And we're going to install an inline fuse. So I'm going to go ahead and lift up one of the washers. It's a 100 amp inline fuse. Doesn't matter how it goes as long as you put it on the terminals. And let's install the 2 power cables, 1 on each side. So we're going to do 1 with a washer and a nut, and then I'll do the second one on the other end. That's 1. And then this is going to be the second one. So now we have a power cable with an inline fuse. So this is the positive, BAT positive terminal of the module. I'm going to loosen this terminal. I'm going to grab the power wire, feed it from under, and we're going to put it connected to this terminal. Now we can tighten this bolt, and we're going to do the same thing on the ground, which is the BAT minus. So before we connect this to the battery, I do want to point out a couple of cool features of the 2.0 module that the 1.0 does not have. The 2.0 is equipped with trigger wires 1, 2, and 3, and those will be these 3 terminals. If there's any power signal onto these 3 contacts, it's going to turn on automatically designated channels. A common question that we get is how to turn on your light bar together with your high beams. So one way to do it would be to connect your light bar to auxiliary 6 and then run a positive wire from your high beams to trigger wire 1 contact. So now anytime somebody turns on the high beams, channel number 6 is going to turn on automatically. And if you wanted to control auxiliary 7, that would be trigger wire number 2, and channel 8 would be the trigger wire number 3. So this is a optional feature, it's not required. This would be if you're not using your remote and you want something like your high beams or your reverse lighting to control some of these auxiliary channels. In this video, we're not going to be using trigger wires. It's fairly advanced wiring, which we're not going to get into at the moment. So now let's go ahead and connect this module to the battery. So now we're in the engine bay. We're going to provide power and ground to our module. We're going to use one of these terminals. We're going to loosen the bolt. We're going to slide a terminal underneath it, and we're going to retighten it. Loosen the nut, slide the battery terminal, and retighten it. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the ground. When I do connect the ground, you're going to see a blinking or a solid green light here. So I'm going to loosen this. I'm going to slide the terminal under, and there's a solid green light, which means that the module is getting power and is grounded correctly. All right. So now that the M&R wiring harness is connected, now we have to just connect the 2 power sources to it in order to switch from amber to powerful white light. The M&R wiring harness that's provided has crimp connectors, so that way you can connect them to your auxiliary switches. If we're going to use the wireless controller, then we have to take these off. It's pretty simple. Just cut off the crimp connectors and strip the wire. So looking at the M&R wireless harness, we're already using channel 1 and channel 8 for our light bar. So for the ditch light kit, you're going to need 2 power sources. You can use either 2 and 7, for example, or if you wanted to fuse the amber DRLs together so that way they turn on with 1 switch, you can also do it. You would just connect the white wire to wire number 8. So we're going to use 2 and 7 for this example. Feed the wires from the bottom. So we're going to unscrew channel 2. We're going to slide our power wire to it, and the red wire is going to be the powerful white light, and then the white wire that we're going to use, we're going to put it on channel number 7. So let's go ahead and test it. We're going to turn on the controller. We're going to hit switch number 2, that's going to be the powerful white light, and then switch number 7, that's going to be the amber backglow feature. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got the confidence that you need to install this product yourself. You guys are going to absolutely love it.